Ciena's Wavelogic 5 Nano WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO transceiver module provides standards-compliant 100 to 400 gigabits per second coherent transmission, enabling space and power-efficient high-capacity optical transport in a multi-vendor networking environment. Ciena's Wavelogic 5 Nano WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO transceiver module provides standards-compliant 100 to 400 gigabits per second coherent transmission, enabling space and power-efficient high-capacity optical transport in a multi-vendor networking environment. What is WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO? The WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO is a coherent pluggable transceiver design optimized for service provider metro reconfigurable optical add/drop multiplexer (ROADM) networks, while also supporting a multi-vendor networking environment. This pluggable supports the transport of both optical transport network (OTN) and Ethernet client interfaces using transmission modes compliant to global industry standards and multi-source agreements (MSAs). These include IoT Interoperable OTN Flexo Standard, Open ROADM MSA, and CableLabs 200G point-to-point P2P architecture specifications. This multi-rate coherent transceiver can be deployed in 50 GHz fixed grid as well as flexible grid networks. Where does WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO fit? High bandwidth growth and the need to scale networks while keeping capex and energy costs in check is driving the need for the next generation of pluggable transceivers, offering the benefits of coherent technology within a pluggable form factor. With support for both OTN and Ethernet client interfaces, WL5n Standard CFP2-DCO facilitates the sustainable evolution of service provider metro ROADM networks. Embedded amplification and tunable optical filter in the CFP2-DCO enables simple deployment in existing brownfield networks, including over colorless, directionless, and contentionless CDC configurations and alongside earlier generation coherent wavelengths. Why WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO? With this product, users can NDIO management interface.
Summary.
Ciena's WL5n brings the strength of coherent optics into compact form factor solutions that support a wide range of efficient transport options. With WL5n 100G 400G Standard CFP2-DCO, you can sustainably evolve your metro ROADM infrastructure to higher capacities at lower energy consumption while gaining the benefits of a multi-vendor ecosystem underpinned by global industry standards and MSAs. Bring the capacity scale and optical network simplification benefits of coherent technology to access applications. Realize operational savings related to reduced footprint and energy consumption in metro/regional applications for sustainable network upgrades. Reduce transport costs of existing brownfield networks with support for both Ethernet and OTN client traffic and the ability to deploy over any type of line system, including CDC, and alongside earlier generation coherent wavelengths. Support multi-vendor environments through transmission mode support for interoperable standards and MSAs. Key features include single carrier 100 to 400 gigabits per second coherent transmission, 100G QPSK/200G 16 QAM 31.5 G-baud OFEC interoperable modes compliant with ITU-T G.709.2/G.709.3 Open ROADM MSA CableLabs P2P Coherent Optics, 200G QPSK/400G 16 QAM 63 G-baud OFEC interoperable modes compliant with ITU-T G.709.2/G.709.3 Open ROADM MSA. Versatile client interface support. 100 GB, 200 GB. OU4, ODU-CN/Flexo. Channel spacing, 50 GHz/75 GHz/100 GHz fixed grid flexible grid.